Hello everyone. A few people saying Happy New Year in the chat, so Happy New Year to all of you as well. We will start the practice session very soon, but while we're just waiting to get started, I'll talk a little bit about what we're going to do in the practice session. Some of you know at least a little bit ahead of time. I did tell people what the theme was going to be. Basically, we're going to be focusing, excuse me, on the transition from water to wood. So if you're not familiar with some of these concepts from a Chinese philosophy perspective, water is the most yin of the elements, and in terms of tissues within the body it relates very much to our kidneys, our bladder related to that as well, our bones and our bone marrow, and a few other things as well, but these are some of the main ones that we're going to be focusing on within the session. We're going to have a clear focus on the bones, the bone marrow, the kidneys to activate that water element. Being the most yin of the elements, the kidneys and the water element relate very much to our original qi. So you can think of it as things like our genetic memory, coming from our stem cells in our bones. The kidneys are also the base of the hormonal functions from a Chinese medicine perspective as well. And so we connect to our deepest memories, our deepest understanding, our deepest knowing of what is right and good for us. So that's a good place to start when we're wanting to make plans, is to connect to what's really deep and true within us. And that's where we'll start. From there, the wood element is the element that comes after the water element. The water feeds the wood, and then the wood starts to put things into action. So we get our ideas, our inspiration in the water element, and then wood gives us the drive, the decisiveness, the motivation to actually do something with those ideas. Now, tissues that connect to that within the body are, well, the organs are the liver and gallbladder. Then in terms of body tissues, very much the connective tissue. And then the eyes. The eyes have a strong connection to the wood element as well. And this is like having a vision for what it is that we want to do and being able to see how to do it. So that's going to be our focus. Water flowing through to wood. It fits very well with the new year where, maybe it's a somewhat arbitrary day of the year, but it is just after the solstice. That's less arbitrary, and a lot of us take it as an opportunity one way or another to be looking at new plans for the idea, getting ideas and seeing how we're going to work with them. So this Qigong practice will support that. All right, so I am going to change my camera here. There we go. So I can move away from the camera as we start to practice. I hope everyone can hear me okay. On my end, it looks like the audio is going through all right. Let me just adjust something else on the screen here. There we go, that's going to be better. All right, and we're going to start with just a very, very simple warm-up. We're just going to do some joint rotations to get our body moving and start to connect, be aware of our body. So if you put your hands together and we start to rotate at our wrists, rotating one way, and then rotating back the other way, just loosening things up, getting the joints lubricated, getting the energy flowing. From here we'll move out to our elbows, making some rotations at our elbows. I'm just going to check these comments still coming in. Oh yeah, people saying they can hear me, that's good. All right, and we'll go the other way. From here we'll move to our shoulders, so just with one arm, raising it up, opening it to the back. Now, make as large a circle as is comfortable for you. You don't have to do great big circles like this. If that's not comfortable, you can do some smaller ones if you have some issues with your shoulder. But ideally, if we can, we want to really open up through our shoulder, and as we do this, it starts to open up down the side of our body, down into our spine, even to our hips as well. And we'll change directions, making circles in the other direction as well. Switching over to the other arm, big circle, opening up through the shoulder, through the side of the body, down into the waist, down into the hip. And we'll change direction, going the other way as well. Bring your hands to your waist. We're now going to rotate at our waist, gently opening up our hips, getting our hips moving. And we'll go the other way. Now stepping your feet together, bending your knees, having your hands on top of your knees. We'll do some rotations with our knees. As we do this, we might notice we're also gently starting to rotate the ankles, getting them ready as well. We'll change directions, going the other way. All right, out to one ankle, rotating at the ankle. And back the other way. Other ankle. And the other way. Bringing your weight back onto both feet. Now with our neck, we'll tilt our head forwards. And then tilt our chin up and look up. And tilt forwards. And back. And forwards, and back, coming to the center, turn to one side, and to the other, and turn, and turn, and turn, and turn. Coming to the center. If you have any issues with your neck, you can just keep tilting forwards and back, side to side. If you're comfortable with your neck, you can try doing some full rotations all the way around. Opening up the neck, preparing those tissues around the neck. And we'll go the other way. Coming back to the center, releasing your hands. We'll just twist nice and gently, side to side, arms loose. As you twist a bit more strongly, your arms might come up a little bit higher. You can let your hands strike against your body, loosening the spine, loosening the whole body. And come back to settle in the center. So we'll take a few moments to just stand, be aware, connect to our body, our breath, our energy. So stand with your feet shoulder width apart and just soften your legs as if you're sitting down. So we're not forcing the knees to bend, we're just relaxing them. You can think like you're sitting on a high stool, so your pelvis comes underneath you. Your back is straight, your spine is long, your neck is long, your shoulders relaxed and open, your arms loose at your sides. And take a moment to connect to your body. Be aware of each part of your body. Be aware of your feet, your toes, your ankles, your lower legs, your knees, your thighs, your pelvis, your abdomen, your chest, your back, your shoulders, your arms, your hands, your neck, your head, your face. See if you can be aware of your whole body. And then also tune into your breath. As you stand and breathe, feel the way as you breathe in, your whole body expands and rises just a little. And as you breathe out, your whole body contracts, sinks back in just a little. Steady, relaxed breaths, expanding and contracting, rising and falling with each breath. And as we allow our whole body to move gently, subtly with the breath, this also allows our energy to flow more freely as well. The breath naturally tends to open our joints, open the tissues so the energy can flow through it. The expansion and contraction naturally pumps the energy through our system. So just standing here, aware of your body, aware of your breath, you may possibly start to notice your energy flowing more freely as well. All right, so we're going to start this session at a very similar point to where we ended the earlier one, if any of you happen to make that one as well. If not, the recording is available on the YouTube channel. So we're going to start with some heel drops to activate our water energy at a very base level. So to do this, we breathe in, lifting up onto the balls of our feet, and then we breathe out, dropping down onto our heels. It sends a vibration right up through our bones. Again, these bone tissue and the bone marrow inside it relates very much to our water elements. We're activating that with vibration at a deep level. So we'll do this several times. We breathe in, come up, breathe out, dropping down, activating with vibration through the bones. Breathe in, come up, breathe out, breathe in. Now, if it's too much for you to come right high on your feet, you can just lift your heels a little bit and make it a smaller drop if that's better for you. Or if that's too strong, you can just extend and sink. That works as well. But if we can get that vibration from lifting our heels and dropping them, this is really good. That vibration through the bones, the compression, actually stimulates the electrical activity right through the bones. And we're starting to wake that energy in the bones up. Breathe in, we come up. Breathe out, down. Breathe in, come up. Out, down. We'll do two more. In, come up. Out, down. One more. In, come up. Out, drop down. All right. You may, possibly, or maybe not, depends how sensitive you are, you might feel some activity now in your bones from those heel drops. We're going to use our intention to connect that activity and the way our energy connects to the earth through our feet. We're going to do some bone breathing, and we'll do this in stages. So you can just stand and do this. I'm going to use my hands to kind of help guide what we're doing. To begin with, we want to think of our energy as connecting down into the earth. You can think of this like roots from a tree extending down into the earth. Or another way to think of this is like lightning when it strikes and the way it branches and branches, down, and we get this pattern of branching into the earth. The electrical activity of our body connects down into the earth in a similar way. So we send our awareness down into those roots in the earth, and then as we inhale, we'll do this in stages. So we inhale, we draw the energy up, and to begin with, we'll just come up to the knees. And then we breathe out, we flow the energy back down through the bones, back down through those roots into the earth. So again, breathe in, draw up through those roots, up through the bones of the feet, bones of the legs to the knees. Breathe out, flow that energy back down through those bones, back down into the earth. We'll do one more like this. So we breathe in, coming up through the bones, up to the knees. Breathe out, down into the earth. This time we'll go a little further. We'll come up to the pelvis. So we breathe in, draw the energy up from the earth, up through the lower legs, up through the thighs, up filling the bones of the pelvis. And breathe out, flow that energy back down through the bones, down through the feet, back down into the earth. We breathe in, drawing up through the legs, all the way up, filling the bones of the pelvis. Breathe out, flowing back down into the earth. You can think of this energy, ideally we feel it, but you can think of it like white light or like cool water flowing, if that helps you to connect to it. So breathe in, drawing the energy up through our legs, up to our pelvis. Breathe out, flowing the energy back down through our feet, back down into the earth. This time we're going to come right up the spine, up to the base of our neck. So we breathe in, we draw the energy up through the roots, up through the legs, up through our pelvis, up through our spine, filling our ribs all the way up to the shoulders, and then breathe out, flowing that energy back down through our bones, down into our roots, into the earth. Breathe in, drawing up. Clean, fresh energy. Breathe out, flowing any stagnant old energy back out. Breathe in. Again, we're activating the bones, activating the bone marrow as we flow energy through them. Breathe out. It's a subtle practice, but it gets stronger as we continue with it. We'll do one more just to this level. Breathe in, up through the spine, up through the ribs, up to the base of the neck. Breathe out, back down. This time, we're also going to flow energy up through the arms and all the way up to the head, so all the way up. So we breathe in, the energy comes up through our roots, up through our legs, up through our pelvis, up through our arms, up through our spine, our ribs, all the way filling the bones of our head. And then breathe out, the energy flows back down through the bones, releases down into the earth. Breathe in, drawing that energy up through the bones, through all the bones of our skeleton. And breathe out, clearing any stagnant, stale energy back out. One more, breathe in, drawing fresh, clean energy in, up through the bones, all the bones of the body. And breathe out, flowing back down, out into the earth. From here, we're going to bring our attention specifically to our kidneys. So we'll just put our hands into our kidneys. We'll do a little bit of massage, just massaging some circles, just to warm the kidneys up, gently wake them up. And again, we're going to continue to work with our intention, with our breath. This time to flow the energy. It'll still flow up through the bones, but now specifically into the kidneys as well. We're going to feel them expand and contract with the breath. So after a little bit of massage, you can just place your hands on the kidneys. Now, ideally, you want to have your fingertips facing down. If that's difficult for you, just however works for you, that's okay. But we'll get our hands over our lower back, over the area of our kidneys. And our focus now shifts as we draw the energy up through our body. It's not just in the bones now, it's through all the tissues of the body, coming up to fill the kidneys. We're moving into the soft tissue as well now. So again, we send our awareness down into those roots, and we breathe in, drawing the energy up through the roots, now up through all the tissues, the bones, the soft tissue, and feel this area in our lower back stretch and expand under our hands. And then breathe out, feel the area in our lower back release and the energy flow back down through our legs, back down into the earth. So we breathe in, we draw the energy up through our roots, up through our legs, up into our lower back, feel the kidneys expand, stretch, and breathe out. Flow the energy back down, releasing from the kidneys, down through the legs, back down into the earth. We'll do a few more breaths like this. Breathe in, drawing energy up. Feel the expansion in the lower back. Feel the way this gently squeezes the spine and sends energy up the spine as well. And then breathe out. We release, the energy flows back down through the whole body, back down to the earth. We'll do 2 more breaths. Breathe in. Feel the kidneys expand, stretch, open, squeezing the spine. Breathe out, releasing. The energy flows back down into the earth. 1 more. Breathe in, coming up. And breathe out, flowing the energy back down. Releasing your hands, we'll leave them loose at our sides now. Just see if you can continue with that awareness. As you breathe in, there's a flow of energy comes up through your whole body now. As you breathe out, the energy flows back down to the earth, connecting to a deep layer of the water element, of our water energy, the bone marrow, the kidneys, but then how that water energy flows through the whole body. We have an ocean of energy within our body. We sometimes think of this as just being centered in different locations, but it's actually our whole body that contains this ocean of energy. And we're connecting into this and gently activating it with these simple, intentional practices with our breath. The next thing we want to do, and some of you might have started doing this spontaneously, is bring a little bit of movement in to connect to this ocean quality of our energy. Quite simply, we're going to sway forwards and backwards and forwards and backwards. It's like a big ocean swell that moves through our whole body. From our feet coming all the way up through our legs, our pelvis, our torso, through our arms, our neck, our head, a big ocean swell. If you've been out on the ocean, hopefully a lot of you have, either just swimming or on a boat, particularly if you get out past the breaking waves where you can feel the ocean swell just gently rising and falling. This is the kind of sense we want to feel moving backwards and forwards through our body. It gently massages through our whole body as we do this. Everything is involved in the movement of the swell. And it's also connecting to that very deep aspect of our energy, the deep stored energy within us. Our pool, our reservoir of genetic heritage, of stored energy, the energy that supports our hormones, the energy that supports all the cycles of other aspects of energy through our body. All right, we're going to open this up even further now. So just standing relaxed but straight, we're going to bring our hands together in front of our body and breathe in, coming up through the center line. And breathe out, lowering back down. So from this big, wide ocean waves of flow, we're now coming to a specific focus through the center. Finding alignment, we're starting to become more specific. Out of that great big ocean of potential, we want to be able to come up with some specific focuses, specific ideas, specific inspiration of what in particular is going to be useful for us to direct our energy towards. So finding alignment around our center is a useful start to this finding focus. We're now going to open up the tissues around our bones a little bit more. So bringing our hands in front of our chest. From here, we open out to the sides. We come through with our palms facing up. And we want to keep our palms facing all the way up. So if you can think of lifting your little finger all the way up towards the sky, this is going to help. And then we turn to one side. I'm going to need to step forwards a little bit. Turn to the other side. Keeping those palms facing all the way up. And with our palms facing all the way up, it creates a gentle twisting stretch right through our whole body. You might be able to feel this all the way down to your ankles, into your knees, into your thighs, up through your spine, up through your shoulders, your arms, your elbows, your neck, your head. So we're gently twisting that connective tissue that surrounds all of our joints through our whole body, and using this gentle twist to open up those joints so the energy can flow more freely. So we're already starting to see an interaction between the wood and the water elements. So the wood of that connective tissue twisting to open so the energy can flow through the bones, that's the water, can come through more easily. We'll do a couple more of these. Just breathing steady, relaxed breaths as you twist to each side. Then coming to the center. I can step back now again. We'll breathe in, raising our hands. We breathe out, backs of the hands come together, creating space down through our spine as we dive downwards. Then palms face up, we breathe in, coming up, drawing fresh energy up. Breathe out, releasing it out to the sides. So we breathe in, raising our arms. Breathe out, backs of the hands come together. You can think of this as diving down deep within the ocean. Palms face up to gather something from the bottom of the ocean. We breathe in as we lift this up and breathe out, releasing it out into the world around us. Again, breathe in. Breathe out, backs of the hands come together, diving down, creating that space, diving to the depths of the ocean. Palms face up, breathe in, drawing energy up from the depths of the ocean, up through our spine. And breathe out, releasing out. We'll do 2 more of these. Breathe in. And breathe out. Breathe in, coming up. And breathe out. Release outwards. Breathe in. And out. Breathe in, coming up. And breathe out, releasing out to the sides. So we've brought this energy up, released it outwards. It's like a fountain coming up out from the depths of our ocean. We're going to continue with some awareness of this, with the mist that rises off the ocean and then the rain that falls. So we turn our palms facing down, we inhale, and we can think of this like the evaporation off the oceans, the mist rising up to become clouds. And then we breathe out, we turn our palms towards us, rain descending, washing back down. So again, palms facing down, we breathe in, mist rises, becoming clouds. Breathe out. This time our palms will face the sides of our body, washing down, washing back down to the earth. Breathe in, palms facing down, the mist rises, forming the clouds. Breathe out. This time we'll come down the back of our body, all the way down. Breathe in, mist rises. We're going to repeat. This time you can do it exactly as we've done it, just standing, or if you want to do it more strongly, breathe out. As we come down, we can also sink our legs so our hands can come all the way down to the earth. Breathe in, the mist rises. Breathe out, palms facing the sides of the body. Again, you can just stay standing, or if you wish, you can sink, bringing those hands that focus on the rain all the way down. Breathe in, mist rises. This time the back of the body, rain descending, coming all the way back down. Okay, so we've got that nice gentle rain falling. There's no harm to just stand and observe that rain still falling down. From here, we're going to focus more on our transition into the wood. We've connected to the depths of our oceans, our bone marrow, our kidneys, our hormones. And now we're going to start to focus on the connective tissue and the rising energy. The first step of this is to bring our energy inwards like a seed. Now, the gentle way to do this, excuse me, is just standing just like this. You can cross your arms in front of your body like you're hugging yourself inwards like a seed. And we rock forwards and backwards and forwards and backwards. If you want to do a stronger version of this, instead of doing it standing, we crouch down to wherever we're able to and wrap our arms around our legs. And again, we rock forwards and backwards, forwards and backwards. And as we do this, we feel a pressure from the inside of our body to the surface of our body. It's much stronger when we're crouching. You can feel it more gently standing, but much stronger when we're crouching. We feel this pushing outwards, pushing into our back, pushing into the surface of our body. Like that energy within a seed, you know, in the center of the seed, and as it starts to germinate, it does move. If you've seen a time lapse of a seed, they rock as they start to germinate, and that energy wants to come out. It's pushing against the shell of the seed, ready to come out. And so that's our next stage. We bring the backs of our hands together. We breathe in as we turn the hands over. We breathe out, palms together as we rise up and open. If you want to do this standing, it's very simple. We just do it standing. We breathe in, backs of the hands together, turn them over. Breathe out, palms together, shooting up and out. You can think of this. Breathe in, this first phase is drawing the energy out of the seed, out of the earth. As the palms come together, breathe out, the shoot comes up above the earth, rises upwards. Fresh, young, new energy rising. Breathe in, using the energy from that water, from the rain, to germinate the seed. And then feed into the rising action of the wood. If you want to do this more strongly, we crouch, breathe in, and breathe out, and open. Breathe in, breathe out, rising up, and open. So it's quite a powerful energy, the energy of a germinating seed, new, fresh life, but it's gentle at the same time. Has that softness, that succulence. Breathe in, but so much potential now starting to come into action. Breathe in, breathe out. We'll do 2 more like this before we move to the next phase. Breathe in, breathe out. 1 more. Breathe in. And breathe out. So we've got that sprouting shoot. The next thing is to let our plant mature. Now, if you're wobbly on your feet, you might want to keep your feet beside each other. If you want to challenge yourself a little bit more, challenge that connective tissue a little bit more, activate the wood more strongly, we can cross 1 foot across in front. Or if you want even more of a challenge, you can cross that foot above your knee and let your knee hang like this as we do the next movement. I'm just going to keep my foot crossed here. It starts similar to the last part of that shoot. Our hands come up from in front of our chest, open wide, spreading to become branches. And from here, we sway to one side and the other. So we now have that height, we have that strength. As we open our arms to the side, you might notice there's a slight bracing through the body to support the arms out there. So it's activating our connective tissue. But as we sway, we're maintaining the suppleness, the flexibility of healthy young green wood. We're not being like old stiff dry wood that breaks easily. We can sway, we can flow. Bringing the hands together, lowering them down in front of the chest. We'll step our foot out, and if you're crossing your legs, we'll try doing that to the other side as well. Again, you can be above the knee if you want, wherever you like to be for today. We extend upwards, and we open out, and then we sway. We sway. As you sway again, there's this activation of the connective tissue from having the arms extended. And you also particularly get activation, you might feel this little stretching, pulling down through the sides of your body. This is where the gallbladder meridian runs. So we're loosening that, activating the flow in the gallbladder meridian. Also, as we rock side to side, even without the arms, if the ribs are going side to side, we're gently massaging the organs that sit underneath the ribs. Now, there's a few organs that sit there, but the key wood ones are the liver and gallbladder. And so we're gently massaging them to, again, have healthy, supple, flexible, rising wood energy. Again, bring your hands together, lower them down, we'll step our feet apart. We're going to repeat this movement. I just want to draw your attention to some little details within it. We can do this with our feet, just shoulder width apart for now, so you're not thinking about too much here. And this time we're going to bring in awareness of the eyes. We often don't necessarily think about the eyes so much within this specific movement. We don't activate them strongly, but there's a gentle activation of them, which again relates very much to the wood element. So what we do with our hands and our eyes does a lot to direct our energy. And generally when our hands are inwards, it tends to bring our focus inwards. When our hands go wide, we have a tendency to follow our hands with our eyes. And so as our hands open wide, our vision tends to open wide as well. So when we're here, we're rising up, our focus is inwards. And then as we open, we have this spreading of our vision, an opening outwards. And you might have a sense of brightness as you open here. You can think of this in different ways. Again, the main thing is to sense it rather than just imagine it. But just spreading branches is a good way to think of this. Or you could also possibly think of this as like a sunflower opening and all that brightness that opens up as we do this. So we'll do this again. We'll come all the way from the shoot actually. So we're very much inwards here. We turn over. We become focused. Our eyes, our focus is inwards, it's central. And then we have this opening wide, this brightness that comes in as we open wide. Naturally, as we stand in this position, our feet, our roots connect down into the earth. Our hands connect up to heaven. We require the support of both heaven and earth energy to support us. And we have this opening of our vision. We've connected to our water, our deepest truth, our deepest knowledge, our understanding. We've got the energy rising. And now we start to have a vision of what we can do with this. Yeah? So again, we can try crossing our legs, hands together. Focus central. Open, expand not just the arms, but gently expand the vision. It's a gentle expansion. We're not straining to do this one. And we can sway, having that suppleness. Again, sometimes when we start to put our ideas into action, we have just one idea of like how it can work, but sometimes things don't work that way. We find we need to be flexible. One of the common issues with wood is when it becomes inflexible and then it runs into things and gets blocked and causes tension. We want that rising, driving, motivated energy, but also the suppleness, like a tree, to sometimes be able to grow around something rather than just straight through it. We'll come back down. We'll repeat on the other side as well, extending up, opening the vision at the same time as we open the branches of our tree, and sway. And sway. Gently side to side. Seeing how your ideas can flow out into the world around you. Bring the hands back together. All right, and releasing your hands back down to your sides. Now, if you're wanting to keep your practice quite gentle today, you possibly might go, okay, that's enough. I'll maybe just bring my hands back to my dantian and let my energy settle here. If you don't mind trying something a little bit more active, we're going to do another practice, a specific one, that brings a lot of these same things together, all within one movement, one practice, so that coming from the energy in close, the activation of the water, the rising
of both the water and the wood, the activation through the bones, through the spine, and then the opening of the gaze, the vision, as our energy moves forwards. We're going to do all of this in a more dynamic way. We're going to use a tiger movement for this. Each of the animals that we practice within Qigong and within Chinese philosophy can have, well, they all have a mix of all of the 5 elements. And tiger often has quite a lot of wood. It also has a lot of water, it has quite a bit of metal, it has fire, but there's often a lot of wood in metal practices. Here we're going to specifically see quite a lot of wood, but also water in the practice. So the movement we're going to do is a tiger pounce. And it starts very similar to what we did with the seed. It starts crouching down, this time with our hands on the floor, fingers as claws. And ideally, we look forwards, and as we look forward, our eyes widen because we're seeing something we want to capture. So our eyes become wide. From here, we lift one heel and drop it down, and the other, pushing our heels into the ground. And this is activating our kidneys on either side of the spine. I'm going to show you this from the side in a moment as well. But hopefully you get the idea. You can feel that activation of the kidneys, eyes wide, looking forwards. From here, when we're ready to pounce, we breathe in. Hands come up close to the body. We feel the energy come up the legs, up the spine, and breathe out. Coming forward, strong, surging energy with our eyes wide. We can do a second movement. We breathe in, hands sweep back. Up from the legs, up through the spine, breathe out. So that is our pounce. I'll do it once more facing this way, then I'll face the side so you can pick up some more details. You might want to step forward with your other leg this time. So we crouch down, looking forward, eyes wide, pumping the legs, feeling the activation through the bones of the legs, through the kidneys. Then we breathe in, hands come up close to the body, energy comes up through the spine, breathe out. Again, breathe in, breathe out. And there's a dynamic tension as we capture with our claws through our whole connective tissue. All right, I'll show you this one from the side as well. So here we go, you should be able to see me okay. Now, we can just squat immediately down, ready for our pounce. Often we would do this from walking. So we've been walking like a tiger. We come down. We bring our leg in, so everything is in close. We pump one leg then the other, activating the kidneys either side of the lower back. And then we breathe in and out. One more, in and out. That's our pounce. We'll try facing the other way, doing a pounce the other way as well. So again, we bring our claws down to the ground. We bring our leg and we're looking forward, eyes wide. We pump the legs, one, then the other. Then we breathe in, energy comes up through the spine, breathe out. One more, breathe in, breathe out. All right, coming back to the center. So a bit more dynamic, that one. Still doing it relatively gentle, relatively slow. You can get very dynamic with this one if you want to really launch into those pounces. If you're wanting a more dynamic way to activate that water, send it through into your wood, activate your vision. For now though, we're going to start to settle our energy a little bit. We'll have a little bit of time if there's questions people have at the end as well. We're going to start by just having a good shake. You can think like, whoa, we've activated the energy more strongly now. Think like a dog when it's been a bit too active and it wants to let something go. We can shake. So we'll breathe in, raising our arms to the side. We'll breathe out, lowering our arms and shaking. Breathe in, lift up. Breathe out. Breathe in, lift up. Breathe out. We'll do 2 more. Breathe in, lift up. Breathe out. 1 more. Breathe in, lift up. Okay, we're now going to do a little bit of gentle rain again, a simpler version now. We're just going to focus on the downwards flow, helping to settle our energy after that stronger activation. So we just breathe in, lifting our hands, breathe out, turning the hands towards the body, feeling that gentle descending of the energy, washing down, releasing any tension, releasing it down into the earth. Breathe in, lift the hands up. Breathe out, gentle rain falling down over the whole body, all the way down into the earth. Breathe in, lift up. Breathe out, gentle rain, washing down, washing down, washing down. We'll do 2 more. Breathe in, lift up. Breathe out. We'll do 1 more. Breathe in, lift up. And breathe out. From here we'll do some self-massage to settle our energy further. We'll start just by bringing our hands to our center, moving them into our lower back. We'll do some massage in our lower back, much like we did before, just massaging in circles. And then we'll pat down the back, down the outside of our legs, up the front, inside of the legs, up the front of the body, out the inside of one arm, up the back of the arm. Out the inside of the other arm, up the back of the arm, over our face, over our head, over our neck, down our back, down the legs again, up the inside of the legs, front of the body, out one arm, out the other arm, over our face, over our head, over our neck, down the back, all the way down. Coming up the inside of the legs, front of the body, out one arm, out the other arm, over our face, over our head, over our neck, coming down to our waist, bringing our hands back again to our center, and we'll take just a minute or 2 to just stand. Let that energy settle. So even though the movements we're using, for the most part, are relatively gentle in our Qigong practice, most of the time, sometimes we can use more dynamic movements, and certainly that tiger pounce, even done slowly, it can be a little bit more dynamic. But even with the gentle movements, often we activate the energy quite strongly, and that's a good thing. You know, we can think of our Qigong practice sessions as being like an exercise session where we work our body, in this case our energy, a bit more strongly than we do the rest of the time during our day. But then after that session, we don't want the energy to stop flowing, stop being active, but we do want to settle it. We do want it to just calm down and settle so it becomes more relaxed, down to a level that we can sustain as we continue through the rest of our activities for the day. So we're going to do just 1 more movement as part of settling our energy, integrating what we've experienced in this practice today. We'll release our hands to the sides, and then we'll breathe in, raising our hands wide to the side. Breathe out, lowering the hands down the center and front. So we breathe in, we're bringing energy up the spine. Breathe out, we're descending it down the center of the front of the body. Breathe in, circulating between yang and yin, creating a harmonious flow, a harmonious balance between these. We'll do 1 more. And breathe out. Bring your hands back to your abdomen, in front of your dantian. And just let the energy settle. Okay, we'll finish our practice there. If anyone has any quick questions or comments you'd like to make in the chat area, you're welcome to do that. I can stick around for a few minutes and see if there's anything anyone would like to ask about. Okay, all right, so Nuala says, I'll change my camera so you're looking at my face, not the top of my head. There we go. You can see, I'm a little bit sweaty. I'm in Bali, so it's probably a bit warmer than maybe where a lot of people are. Nuala put earlier, she said, apologies for lateness. I was trying to cast to TV, but restricted. Possibly it's my YouTube settings. I don't know. I haven't done many of these sessions on YouTube. I certainly didn't intentionally restrict it. So it could be something at this end, maybe something I can look into. Yeah, because we will probably do some more sessions like this. Of course, we do a lot of sessions on Zoom most of the time, but thought it would be interesting to try doing it on YouTube as well. So totally connected, put Happy New Year. I arrived late, but have saved to do tomorrow. Yeah, that's right. So the session is recorded, and you can access it on the YouTube channel. We'll also put a link to it on the Long White Cloud Qigong website under live streaming sessions, so you can find it there too. So Sarah puts, thank you, John. Loved how this practice flowed and became really dynamic in places. Loved it. Great. Okay, more people saying they enjoy the practice, which is great. Let's see. Okay, yeah, lots of people saying they enjoyed it, which is lovely. I won't read out every one of someone saying they enjoyed the practice, but if someone has a question, I'll talk about that as well. So we'll give it another minute or two in case anyone has a question, and otherwise we'll wrap things up. Okay, cool. Well, great. It sounds like lots of people enjoyed it. That's great. As I mentioned, we probably will do some more of these sessions where we don't have a regular schedule for them or anything at the moment. Basically, if any of you are on the email newsletter, or even actually if you access these through the Long White Cloud Qigong website, I put some comments there that ideally at some point I'd like to move towards possibly doing weekly sessions. There'd probably be like a subscription sort of thing to do that. I'm not able to do that just yet because I've got too much other stuff to do with projects and things, and I can't commit to that right now. So in the meantime, a good opportunity, we'll do these sessions from time to time. And yeah, an opportunity for me to get into the habit of teaching sessions like this, and also to try out some different things with platforms and formats and things like that. So I think that answers Jurian's question, will you be doing more live sessions? Yes, the plan is to do them. They're not going to be regular at this stage. They might be a little bit intermittent. If you want to find out when those are happening, probably the best way is be on the email newsletter. That's sort of your most surefire way to know that things are happening. But then also if you look on the YouTube channel regularly, you might find it there too. So Maxine asks, are you still planning a retreat in Bali? I'm not specifically planning one right now. It's possible I could do one later in the year, but not right now. I did talk about actually again in the vlog, actually, wasn't in the newsletter specifically. I think in the end of year sort of wrap up post, I wrote some things about this. I've got a lot I need to do in terms of getting the Qigong healing course ready, and then some other projects that I kind of need to prioritize at the moment, or they're just not going to happen. And so because of that, I've sort of put off some of the other plans because like, right, I really need to get this done. But once I've done that, yeah, the plan will be, yes, certainly I'll be looking at retreats again. And I'm hoping that there'll be some, if not necessarily Bali, there could be some in Bali towards the end of the year, but certainly elsewhere in the world that we'll have some retreats and workshops and things later in the year, probably second half of the year, that we might look at organising some things like that. Yeah, and I think that answers Sue's question as well. Any more in the UK? Yeah, so yeah, not immediately, but possibly second half of the year, I'm hoping to get some things organised. And Sue's asking, and is there a launch date for the Qigong healing course? No, and that's why I really need to focus on this. I need to, some of you have probably heard me talk about this before. Each of those courses that I put together is a huge amount of work for me. And it's, I mean, there's a lot of work just in the writing and the making videos and stuff, but it's a lot of thinking and planning work because I want to make really sure that I can communicate things in as clear a way as I possibly can so people can take it in easily and so on. And it's a lot. And so that's my, yeah, I need to kind of put some other stuff aside so that I can really focus on that and get that ready and available for people, because I do think it's so valuable, that aspect of the practice, and so I'm really looking forward to sharing it with people. But yeah, I'm going to focus on that and then let other things come later. Oh, so Jane is asking, I'm planning to concentrate on the 5 elements in my January classes. Would you recommend extra focus on water and wood? Yeah, so you're in the Northern Hemisphere, and so there's never anything wrong with just having a balance on all 5 elements because they do form a cycle. They all support each other. So, you know, if in doubt, do a balance of all 5. That's always good. But given the season, winter transitioning towards spring, this is, you know, winter relates to water, transitioning towards spring, wood. And so this session that we did here today, it ties in with New Year's particularly, but for those in the northern hemisphere, it also ties in pretty well with the seasons. You're sort of in the depths of winter now, but starting to have the start of that rising wood energy, so it's a natural time actually to be focusing on that. And of course, there's lots of different ways you can do this. What I did in this session was just one example of how to combine some water and wood practices. There's lots of other ways you could do that too. So Makeda put, thank you for the time you take with the courses. It makes a big difference to my experience of them. Yeah, cool. Happy to wait for the sake of greater clarity. It's one of those things. I mean, people have been waiting for quite some time, and I am aware. And again, I really want to make this available. But it's one of those things. I do get quite busy with the other things, running existing courses and interacting with different people, and to get it done, it's not like I'm going to stop everything else I'm doing, far from it, but I need to not have too much of my attention off on other things, or it's very difficult to put in the concentrated work I need to. But that's the plan. I'm hoping over the next few months I'm going to have a really good productive period, and be able to announce some dates and stuff not too long after that. We'll see how we go. Okay, thanks everyone. Lovely to see you all. I look forward to seeing you on another one, hopefully before too long.